while since I posted a video, about 4 or 5 weeks. There's good reason for that. I've been working away at the hillside to get it from the paper mache base that you saw last to this moorland slash sheep farming scene. So stay tuned and I'll take you through all the steps that I've done to get it to this. Hello and welcome back to Greenhill Junction. Right, this video it's time to move on to decorating and doing scenery on the hillside. I appreciate my last two videos have been fairly similar, but I was using two different techniques. Granted, I was getting pretty much the same result, but you know, chicken wire here is a bit different from just using paper and card to create a small embankment. So you know, I thought there was merit in doing the two things separately. But anyway, so it's time to do the scenery, and it's all going to be about layers. So we're going to have a few wee videos, making a big video basically. So first up is I'm going to paint it all brown. So I have a bottle of burnt umber, otherwise known as brown, and the whole thing will just be getting painted brown. It'll probably take a couple of coats, because the one drawback in using newspaper is, as you can see, it's not exactly a blank canvas, so you need to get all the newsprint covered up. I have went a bit nuts at Hobbycraft and got a few different colours. This is great because each of these bottles costs £1, so that's a fiver for 5 300ml bottles of paint. Some of this is for a side project that I'm doing just now as well, and there'll be a video coming in due course, but it all kind of ties in. But on the second coat I'll probably put in some black, I'll put green, I might even try some white just to vary it up a wee bit, because let's face it, soil isn't always one colour. But yeah, so I'll crack on with the brown, get that all done, and then we'll move on to the next layer. So yeah, no point in showing you painting. Painting is painting, and we'll come back once that's done. Alright, so speak to you again in a bit. Okay, welcome back. So that's the first coat of brown on. It's now the next day, and I've just patched a little bit with the brown where the newsprint was shown through. What I am trying to do here is, my wife suggested a way to try and get some different colours into the mix, and I'm basically stippling. So I have a tinfoil plate with green, black, white and brown on it, and a bit of sponge, and basically all I'm doing is, if I just zoom out a wee bit, is I'm dipping in the brown and then like taking a tiny little bit of black, a bit too much there, but then if I've got too much I just mix it in the middle, and then just doing that. That's maybe a bit black, so I'll just put on a little bit more brown and then just go over it. And then if I'm thinking that down the bottom towards the track would be a little bit greener maybe. So if I just kind of do that down there. But then again, maybe a wee bit too much green, so just add a little brown to it. And as you can see, it kind of brings out different tones and colours. So granted that's wet. Come on, focus. So we'll need to see what it looks like when it's dry. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep on doing it all the way along, and just see what it turns out like. I mean, at the end of the day, most of this is going to get covered anyway. But if you can see through it, it'll probably be better to see sort of different colours and tones rather than just a block brown colour like that. So I'll crack on and see what it turns out like. So back in a bit. Okay, you can kind of see the effect that I was going for. You see there's different tones. The blacks came out quite well, and then there's some lighter bits along here. It's given it a bit of texture, even though it's a smooth-ish surface. And things are starting to come out now, so you can see that there's a ridge line going up there, which don't know why it's formed, but it's not the worst. This bit here is quite steep, so I put some more black on it just because I don't think there's going to be a lot of grass or bushes there, so I don't know, just try and show it's a bare surface. See how that develops. And the sort of channel here, I tried to put a bit more green in just to make it a bit different. So I mean, I'm sure someone with a lot more artistic ability than me can do a much better job than that, but I see the idea and I get it, and you know, you can sort of highlight things, which is good. The one thing I have noticed is that obviously this is just paper and it's water-based glue, water-based paint, so it's starting to come away from the edge a little bit, and there's really nothing I can do about that. I'm guessing the wire's probably not held down enough, and then the paper's not been glued down enough, so I'll just need to get creative with bushes along there, cover that, and I'll just need to be really careful that I don't put too much moisture on that. But actually the way the light catches that there, you can see what I was going for. So it's all good so far. Let's go on to the next layer. Right, now that I've got all the painting done, I'm going to move on to the next layer, which is the soil essentially, and add texture. Now for that I've got 2 bought products and 1 homemade product, shall we say. So I've got Woodland Scenic's Fine Turf Earth, which is that colour, the Fine Turf Soil, which is a bit darker, and I've also got soil. So I've been getting a lot of work to the garden done, and I got a load of topsoil delivered. So I remember seeing someone using regular soil. I think it was the scrap line external area, whatever it's called. So I went out with a sieve and I started sieving topsoil, probably much to my neighbour's amusement, and I've been leaving it to dry in that tub for a bit. So I've had a wee experiment over here in the corner. And it looks quite good. I've literally just done that using the 3 products, and it gives a nice variety of texture. Now I'm not going to cover everything. Come on, focus, anytime. I'm not going to completely cover it, you know, because I want some of the paint to show through, and then to go on top of the soil will be the static grass. Although I've had a faux pas in that I've got half my applicator and I've thrown out the plastic hopper. I think it got mixed up with my Tupperware tubs, like downstairs that I keep my food in, and I thought, why have I got a tub with a screw lid or a screw top to it when I don't have a screw top, and I chucked it out and I've just realised what it was for. So I've just had to order another one. Never mind. So this is really quite simple, well, to me anyway. So good old PVA glue. I'll just put a blob down. Ooh, that's a big blob. Hey, this is why you put things in little tubs. I'll just paint that one. Right, so really just a case of sprinkling. Like I say, this is topsoil. This is just the finest bit of the topsoil that I got delivered, and I've already experimented. It does stick to the PVA. Oh, that's a bit of a twig. Get out of there. So I say, I'm not wanting to go nuts. I'm just wanting texture. Right, I think that'll do. I've done a bit of the fine turf. This is quite mobile, this stuff, so a wee bit kind of goes quite far. Oops. And then the other stuff. So the first one was the earth, the second one is the soil. You can see the difference in the colours. And again, it's just adding variation. Okay, welcome back. So that is all the soil effect done on the hillside. You can still see there's nice variety in colour and textures as well. I'm really quite pleased with the bit in the middle here, so I purposely put more of the darker stuff in to sort of emphasise the gully down the middle. I think that's came out really well, really chuffed with that. And again, sort of spread out the dark stuff down here as if, you know, there'd been, I don't know, stuff falling down and it's spread out down here. But you can still see there's plenty of effects. There's plenty of black, green, brown, and this is just the soil there. And again, in here, so I put it right up into the corner there. In the tunnel, I'm still thinking about how I'm going to sort of cover up that bit. I'm working on it. And then all the way back along here. It's a wee bit, my painting wasn't fantastically straight along there, so there's bits that are going to need covered up, and maybe a couple of bits of brown paint needing wiped off the backboard. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. The only issue I have, you can see it here actually. Now the window is right behind me, so when the sun's coming in it gets a bit shiny there, and I actually did go over that again and I put another wee bit of glue on and put in more of the soil to try and stop that, but I think it's just the way PVA dries, it's shiny, and if you see it, if you see it from there, it's fine. But if you look right on it, so I don't know if it's just the way the sun comes in the window, but to be honest, I can't do anything about that, so it is what it is. But again, if you come around here, apart from what's it there, you don't really see it that much. Okay, moving on to static grass now that we've got the base stuff down. So I got my new grass applicator, just went for the Pico one just because this was £50, so I thought that was pretty reasonable. I have a whole load of grass from before, so I've got basically 2mm summer grass, which is like that. I've got 4mm summer grass. Oh sorry, the 2mm autumn grass. I've got 4mm autumn grass, which doesn't look that much different to be honest. I've got a couple of 6mm wild grass. Don't know what the difference is to be honest. One looks a bit sort of yellower than the other. I have got some 12mm stuff, which is kind of like so. Granted, the static grass thingy says it can only handle up to 6mm, so I'm going to just have a wee experiment with the 12mm and see what happens on a spare bit of wood. But I mean, it's pretty much as you've seen before. So cover it with PVA, static grass it. My idea is that in the sort of gully, there'll be like longer grass down the middle where it might be a bit marshier, coming up to shorter on the tops, and then I'm gonna I've got fencing to put in. I've got bushes. I'm going to try and make my own bushes, gorse bushes. I'm going to try and make my own hedging to go along the fence, and I've going to make clumps of grass. I've also got various scatters to sort of experiment with, kind of like this meadow green scatter, because I think that'll make it look like, you know, there's wild flowers coming through, because that's really what I'm going for, kind of moorland. And finally, it wouldn't be one of my videos without an experiment. So I was looking at like layering, because like everyone seems to be doing that just now. I didn't really do that before, but the layering spray for a small, well, not small, I think it's the medium with the 3 sizes, is like £12 with WWS. So that is £2 out of Asda extra hold hairspray. So I'm going to give that a go and see what happens. Because really, how different can it be? It's essentially spray glue. So what I'll do is I'll get the base down here with the 2mm, and then I'll start filming again when it comes to layering, and we can see what happens. And if it doesn't work, then I'm pretty sure I can cover it up somehow. So back in a bit. Okay, welcome back. So this is me now, the initial layer of static grass down. I've also stuck just a few bushes in, not basically where there's a bit too much glue. But you know, I was wanting bushes along the edge of the railway anyway. That bit is drying, as is all the way along there, and my messy workspace. Right, first thing, tufts. Really easy to do. So greaseproof paper, a blob of PVA, and that's the 4mm grass, and then once it's dry it peels off just like that, and you've got a nice tuft of grass to go somewhere. So don't buy them, make them, dead easy. Next thing is so the hairspray and the, where is it, the 12mm grass. So I had a wee go with it. I had this block that I was experimenting on with the soil on the cover. So I went and put the hairspray on that, and that's just straight, well not straight, that's only the 12mm grass, and as you can see it's standing up. The what do you call it, static grass applicator can obviously work with it. It is falling down in places, but it's long grass. It's not going to be sticking up like a spiky hairstyle. So I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. So now we're going to move on to the actual layering. So back to here, and so this is all 2mm. I think I'm going to add some 4mm, see what happens. So all I'm doing is, I don't know, where do I want to add 4mm? We'll see, we'll just do a patch kind of there. So just give it a good soaking, and then get static grass applicator. This is really difficult working around the camera. Just put a bit of 4mm in. Lid back on. This hairspray is not too perfumed, which is good as well. Switch the machine on. I usually give it a shake just to shake it up, and then put the screw there. And some 4mm in. Switch it back off. Now I can actually see, and you can see on the camera, a nice wee patch developed there, which is good. You can see a difference. So yeah, if I bring you down to, hang on, I'll bring you down to board level. Now you can see there's a difference there. So the hairspray works. Quite happy with that. So I'm going to go along and I'll do patches of 4, patches of 6, and to be honest I'll just make it up as I go along. I think I'm going to leave, excuse me, I'm going to leave the 12 because I'm going to have a fence running along the top of that sort of cliff face. And then what you'll find in, especially this time of year in the summer, is the grass will really grow up through the fence. So I'm going to try and do that. But yeah, I'm just going to crack on and do some more patches to get some layers in. But there you go, £2 hairspray. Okay, welcome back, and that's the hillside done. I cracked on with it because, like I said in the last clip, I was essentially making it up as I was going along, and yeah, I didn't really want to interrupt it with filming. At the end of the day, it was a lot of sticking stuff down to create a scene, and everyone's got their own way of doing it. So I'll take you through the whole thing, and I'll point out some things that I've done and explain how I've done them. So if we start over at what's the station end. So obviously I'd said before that I wanted to blend the back scene into the front scene, if you want to call it. So I've got bushes sort of building up here, going with the back scene, and I made these gorse bushes. I'm going to do a separate video on how to make them. It's quite straightforward, but this video is just getting quite long and I don't want it to be too long, so there's another separate video coming for that, and also for these, which is a kind of rough bit of hedging that I put in, and I was thinking of putting that along the wire fence as well, but after I put the fence in, I thought I'll leave it as it is just now. If I take you right down to the grass level, you can see that I've got lots of layers going on, lots of different things. So we've got some tufts there, that's some of the, I think it's olive scatter from, olive bushes from Woodland Scenic. There's some 12mm going on up here, static grass, I think that's the 2mm, the 4mm, and I also put in some coarse turf just to make it look like things were growing through the grass. And every now and again there's some scatter to make it look like there's some wildflowers growing. I didn't put too much of that in, but I was trying to model this on a local moorland, and I think I'm quite chuffed with the way it's came out actually. If we move on over here, so this was the steep bit at the top end of the railway really. So I've got the bare bit here because it was too steep to really realistically have anything growing on it. So there's different tones of the brown and the black, and it's quite textured with all the soil surface that we put down earlier. Again, some bushes scattered along the edge of the track, and some just a little bit of static grass in between. Up top, this changed every time I kind of went back to it. So first of all, it was shorter. Then I started putting quite a bit of the 6mm in. I don't think I put any 12mm in the end. I did quite a bit of wildflower scatter here, and then the wire fence as well. Wire fence was a complete and utter pain in the you know what. Just really difficult to put in. Nothing down to the design, just probably the length that I've put in. So every time a post sort of moved from vertical, it created more friction on the wire, which just created more drag, and it ended up I actually couldn't move the wires through. So it took me actually, I kid you not, 2 days to put that fence in, and quite a bit of swearing. But it's in now. The wire was quite shiny, so I actually had some primer. Some grey car primer, so I just sprayed that into a bit of greaseproof paper and then got a small paintbrush and painted the wire to dull it down a little bit. You still see there's shiny bits here. I really don't know what to do with that, so I've just left it. So moving on to the tunnel. So this is 4mm there, 6mm here, and then the bushes growing up the side, and again there's some scatters of wildflowers. This side I tried to do something different, so this is clump foliage from woodland scenic, and then this is the stuff that I've made the gorse bushes out of, which is like dried moss, but I just left it bare. And because I wasn't going to have the sheep down here, so I tried to make this a sort of a really bit of scrub land. So I basically just broke up that stuff and scattered it over, then stuck it all down with the hairspray to make it look like there's more growing through, or just make it untidy. And we've got 12mm grass going down there. Around the other tunnel, the railway tunnel, I just went a bit nuts with this stuff again. I did sort of stick some scatter to it to give it some colour. Obviously I've made a mistake there, and my plan is eventually to get maybe some trees and just get a tree line running up into there, because I think this needs something, but I didn't want to just put gorse bushes everywhere. And the tunnel mouth itself is quite overgrown as well. So if I move back up to the main hillside, I did make quite a big mistake here. I put too much 2mm down. I actually covered the whole thing in 2mm, so you remember I had the lovely sort of differing colours of soil down there. That got completely covered. So I was quite annoyed at that, but really couldn't do much about it. So plan B was I started putting a lot of different grasses in. So there's, I think it's 4mm here with wildflowers, 6mm up here, some of my tufts are dotted about, and then I actually live quite near to bits of the Antonine wall, and in between the wall, the wall is essentially 2 mounds of earth, and in between the grass is really long, because it's quite damp there. So I put the 12mm down the middle, and I really quite like the effect that that's given. And again 12mm down here as well to sort of start blending into the big bushes here. And then I've got my herd of sheep and my shepherd with his 2 dogs, and again some more sporadic gorse bushes up the back there. Finally there's the incline. This was quite difficult to static grass because of the lack of space here. So what I did was I ended up doing, there's a little bit of 6mm there again just to try and blend in with these bushes, and then it's mostly 4mm all the way along with sporadic bushes. There's a wee bit of scatter there to make it look like they're flowering, and the idea was to kind of have this field coming out and down to the railway, which I think I've kind of achieved. Yeah, the grass is a different colour, but it's much neater than say the hillside. Over here, again more random grass, so there's 12mm in here, still some 12mm going on, down to 6mm, a lot of 6mm, and then I brought it down to 4mm kind of here, and then it just peters out to a couple of patches and then some scatter. And I put a lot more bushes in here just to show a kind of separation between the tracks and the fact that's an embankment, and got more and more bushes as it goes along. So I think again that's really quite a nice angle down to the tunnel there. So yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of back breaking work, leaning over. Like I say, that wire fence was a nightmare. I'll probably not do a wire fence again. But yeah, I'm really quite pleased with how it's turned out. Like I say, try and get some sort of tree scene going on in there once I teach myself how to build trees. I think there's enough sheep. I think it looks like it's stocked but not overstocked. And yeah, so it's a fair chunk of scenery done. So I think next I've got a level crossing coming for here to build, and then I think I'm going to work down into what will be the village, and I may start some work on the upper station as well. But we'll see how it goes. I'm actually quite tired of building things after doing all that. Let's say it's been quite a big project. So we'll get there. So let me know what you think. Leave any comments you have, good, bad, indifferent. Do you think I need to add something? Do you think I need to take anything away? Subscribe to keep up to date with the channel, and share this video if you think it's any good. thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more episodes, and yeah, thanks for watching.